Hello, sexual freedom seekers. I realized a year and a half ago that I really needed to take some steps back and stop doing some of the things that I love to do, like making videos, and get some of the things cleared off my plate. You know, and that is how it is sometimes in our life with so many different things, you know, with your relationship. Sometimes you have to take a step back or two in order to take and focus on the things that are important in that relationship for you. And same thing with maybe opening your relationship up to be a non-monogamous life. And I know that that was the case for myself. First brought, you know, back, this is like 15 years ago. Brought it up to my wife's attention that I thought that it would be a good idea for us to try having an open marriage. And so at the first week of conversations about that, it was not going well. And so I needed to take a bit of a step back because I realized that she needed some time to process some things. And so we both had a conversation where, you know, we said, well, okay, well, let's go ahead and just put this on the shelf for a year. And then we'll come back and revisit it a year from now. And that's what we had done then. And we came back later a year and revisited the whole process of moving from a monogamous relationship to having an open relationship. And then we were able to make progress in that area of our lives. And so we find that very often in our lives that we find that it's beneficial, instead of just keep pushing forward and pushing forward, it's beneficial to take a step or two back and figure out what it is that you kind of need to be doing. And for me, it was clearing some things that were off my plate that had been on my plate for over 5 years. I want to say thank you to the new subscribers. We've had over 500 new subscribers join the channel while I have been gone, absent. And so hopefully that we'll keep that momentum moving forward now that I'm back and will be making regular videos regularly again. I also want to thank you for the returning subscribers because, you know, it was you folks that were so instrumental to me in the feedback that you gave me in the videos that I made. I appreciated it all so much, and I appreciate you hanging in here with me for the last year and a half of my absence, and yet you're still here today. And so thank you for that. And let me start out by introducing myself. My name is Non-Monogamous Mark, better known as Mark Clayton as well, my official legal name. And I am the co-founder of Non-Monogamous Lifestyles Association. And most of my life I've been a businessman, a business owner. And so when 13 years ago, my wife and I opened our marriage, I should say my late ex-wife, she's no longer living, and we had gotten divorced about 6 months before that time. But at any rate, there's videos I've made on that and sharing the details of that. But you know, one of the things though is that at the point that I opened my marriage, and my wife and I, we had been in business all of our life, and we continued to then have an open marriage for a period of 7 years before she left me and then died. And so, anyway, when that all happened, we opened the marriage, you know, I just looked and I knew that there would be an opportunity for me to come along and to utilize my business skills and helping the whole idea of non-monogamy be something that was viable and not an alternative relationship, but a viable option for people. You know, we got all these alt things out there, and I didn't want to, because you see where I came from, you know, I came to find and be told all my life that people who are non-monogamous were just really creepy, they were perverts, and all kinds of negative connotations associated with that. And so the same thing was, a lot of things you see are alternative lifestyle things. You know, those alternative things are those that are away from the mainstream. And I felt that, you know, there was no reason for us to be ashamed and to hide ourselves because the fact that we are sexual beings and we don't mind actually acknowledging that, because most people are sexual beings, but like I did for so many years in my life, just simply repress and suppress that aspect of our life of being a sexual being. realizing that the other people are sexual beings as well. Yeah, even like your mom, your dad, your brothers and sisters, your kids, they're all sexual beings. And why not allow ourselves to allow that sexuality to flourish? And we can't do that as long as we keep repressing it and limiting it and restricting it and suppressing it and pushing it down in our society, in our lives. And so when my wife and I opened our marriage, we at that time decided that, it would be really great someday to utilize the business skills that I had in order to somehow advance the whole idea of non-monogamy. And so that's why we call it ECNM lifestyle, that we don't call it a swinging lifestyle. We don't call it a polyamorous lifestyle, because my experience is that non-monogamy is a combination of a lot of different practices, and it's really whatever works for those individuals that define it for themselves. And it's just that it's not monogamous. And LGBT people, they found that they found it to be very beneficial that there are, people who are gay and lesbians and bisexuals and transsexuals and now queer and a lot of other things that they've added on all these initials. But the thing is that they weren't straight. And that's the commonality that they shared. And by sharing that commonality of not being straight and coming together, then they gained strength amongst our society. And that's what we want to accomplish with the acronym ECNM. I hope then that you will adopt that for yourself and be part of the ECNM community. And that's the ethical and consensual non-monogamous community. And both of these parts are important, the ethical part and the consensual part, because we certainly know there's a lot of non-monogamy that goes on that is not ethical and that is not consensual. And we really want to get this idea through to people's minds that it's ethical and consensual. And so as long as it's ethical and consensual, why then does it have to be something that's really creepy or perverted? And so then that's why we're creating the Ethical and Consensual Non-Monogamous Community, or ECNM, for the acronym. And so I hope you'll join us in being a part of the ECNM community. And so I co-founded Non-Monogamous Lifestyles then about 4 years ago it's a nonprofit organization, in order to help to foster this whole idea that non-monogamy in our community, in our society, can be an acceptable option for how people do relationships. In fact, as you know, in the United States, it's estimated there's 12 to 15 million people that are actively practicing an ethically and consensually non-monogamous lifestyle. And it's estimated there's at least 35 million people that are sitting on the sidelines kind of wishing that maybe they could be practicing an ethical and consensual non-monogamous lifestyle. And we know that there are over 50 million people that are out there practicing what we call non-ethical and non-consensual non-monogamy. Those are the people who are out there cheating. And so when you take and you look at those kinds of numbers, there's no reason for ourselves to not feel like we're part of a larger community and don't have to feel isolated like often we do get to feeling that way. And so anyway, I started this organization, Non-Monogamous Lifestyles Association, and I'm then known as Non-Monogamous Mark. And we provide training, association, events, and opportunities. And so this is my nonprofit, and I also have a for-profit business, and I focus on a lot of the same community. My for-profit business is you can go there to skinnywithbenefits.com. That's skinny, S-K-I-N-N-Y, with, W-I-T-H, benefits, BENEFITS.com. So skinnywithbenefits.com. And I'm a weight loss coach and have a product that I came and discovered myself that ended my struggle with weight loss. And so that's my for-profit business, and so I hope that you'll get a chance to check that out as well. But I want to talk about this idea, why we call you sexual freedom seekers. You see, there's an aspect of amongst non-monogamous people that I'm wanting to build up. And the idea is, again, that we don't want to be thought of as those alternative folks, those creepy folks, those perverted folks. We want to be thought of as outstanding people. And so part of what we do as sexual freedom seekers is that we're not appealing to all people out there that are practicing an ethical and consensual non-monogamous lifestyle, because we're appealing to those who are really wanting to grow and create the lives of their dreams, and that they're what we call growth-minded. And there's a great bit of research out there about people who are growth-minded, you know, and they don't see things as they are, but they see things as they can be, and that includes their own life. And so they're not just sitting around complaining. These are people that are actually creating the life and growing their life through setting goals for themselves and having a purpose in their life and having some clear direction in their life. And so, you know, one of the things that we found is that when you make a decision to live an ethical and consensual non-monogamous lifestyle, that's a very intentional choice. And so what we want to do is help you use that same level of intentionality and not only apply it to your being a non-monogamous person in your life, but apply it to the two other most important areas of your life, and that is your health and also your money or finances. You see, because most of the people with our health, we're not very intentional, and so subsequently, as we go through the years, our health tends to decline. You know, there's less than, of the people who reach the age of 50, there's less than 4% of the people who reach the age of 50 that can be considered to have a health that is similar to what they had in their 20s. 4%. That's not a very good track record. That means that 96% of the people that make it to the age of 50 are less healthy and can do less, fewer things. You might say they're kind of disabled in some ways because they don't have the same level of ability as when they were in their 20s with their physical body and their mental health and their physical health. And so we want to use that same level of intentionality to help you to get on track. Is the same level of intentionality that you have for making your life a non-monogamous life, but help you use that intentionality to get you on track with living a healthier life as well. And then the other thing is to get you on track with living a life that is a life of abundance, and so that you either need to change your spending habits or make more money, then you get your life on track in that area as well, so you don't reach a point where you're just constantly struggling in the area of finances. And so you're growing your life to be the best authentic self that you can be. And that's really what we as sexual freedom seekers strive for, is that you have a life that is growing because you're being intentional, and you're bringing out the best of you and also the best of others, so that you can be and live an authentic life as an ethically and consensually non-monogamous person. So then I just want to wrap up a little really quick here by telling you a little bit about what we got coming up ahead, and that is simply we're going to be making at least one video a week, but we're going to be doing also some live videos. I'm not sure what day and time slot that'll be yet, but we'll be doing some live videos to come up with a day and a time slot that is hopefully going to work for you, and so that you can take and ask questions and attend some of these live videos, YouTube presentations. And so if you have a day and a time spot that works good for you, make sure you let me know what the time zone is, whether it's like East Coast or West Coast, or like I was in China 2 months ago, and there's 15 hours difference between us here in China and where I'm at on the West Coast in Ventura, California, and then on the people in China. And so let me know what time zone that you're in and what days and times work best for you in attending a live YouTube, so you can get questions answered and we can have a little chat together instead of me just chatting into the camera. And so that you can come and expect. I'll be letting you know when those live ones will be done. But once we start scheduling those, it'll be done the same time and the same day of the week every week, so that you can come to have that expectation of being some regularity. And then also be making videos like this that aren't a live video, and be posting those to my channel as well. So I encourage you at this point to go ahead and give this video a like and subscribe to this channel if you are new and you haven't yet subscribed. But go ahead and subscribe, and then don't forget to click that little bell so you get notifications when I post a new video or when I am live. And then the other thing is down there in the description is a link that will take you over to our email list, and so you can subscribe to that. Got some great stuff coming out in the emails, and so I encourage you to go ahead and subscribe to the email. And thank you again for being here as part of my channel, and I look forward to moving ahead with you.